No problem. You're good. All right. Ready?
Robbie.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, that was kind of weak. I'm sorry. Let's try that one more time. Maybe the bar mitzvah family spent too much time partying last night, and people didn't get enough sleep. Let's try that one more time. When I say Shabbat Shalom, what I'm really saying is how happy I am that, one, it's Shabbat, my favorite day of the week, but not just a regular Shabbat, a Shabbat where we are going to be calling a young man who's pretty awesome to our Torah as a bar mitzvah. And so if you are happy to be here, you can say Shabbat Shalom right back at me. Shabbat Shalom!
Shabbat Shalom.
All right, I'm feeling a bit more ruach, but I don't think we're quite ready for Daniel yet. I think we got to warm ourselves up a bit more with talking about how grateful we are. So we are in our Mishkan Tefillah Sidur. If you're a guy like me, you're going to say Modeh Ani. And if you identify as a girl, you'll say Moda Ani, page 186. Page 192.
This piece begins with a melody that has no words at all, so I encourage you to sing along with this melody called a nigun. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. La 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 la, ya la 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 try that. La 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Batuvu alecha Yaakov, Mishkinotecha Yisrael, Va'ani birochastecha, Avo beitecha, ubitecha. אשתחווה לך בקודשך, ביראתך, ביראתך. אדוני אחתי מעון ביתך, ומקום משכן כבודך, ואני אשתחווה לאכרעה. אברך לפני אדוני עושי. ואני תפילתי לך
We turn to page 198 for our Nisim B'Chol Yom, our daily miracles. In case you don't think you've experienced any miracles today, just getting to wake up and experience a day that's never happened before, and being free and having clothes, things like this. These are miracles that maybe we take for granted. We don't stop often and think about how lucky we are. So we'll turn to page 198, and we will rise, as our custom, for the Nisim B'Chol Yom.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lasech vivina, lehavchin bin yom uven layla.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tokeach ivim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, rok haaretz al hamayim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzad gaver.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten layaif koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hama'avir shina me'inai, u'tunoma me'afapai.
Page 202.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tselem Elohim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani bat chorim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozir Yisrael bigvura.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael b'tifara.
You may be seated. Page 206. And I would like to invite up Yonah Eckstein, one of Daniel's cousins, to lead us in a reading on page 206. Is Yonah here? There we go. Come on up. So Yonah makes her way up here. I always like to point, this reading is called the Elu Divarim En Lahem Shior. Come on up, come on up. Are you Yonah? Who's Yonah? Come on up, Yonah. So the Elu Divarim En Lahem Shior, these were called the values without measure. I often call them the top 10 ways to be a good Jewish person. So if you could lead us in that, that would be great. Don't worry, I showered this morning, I promise. Come on up here. There you go. 206, right here, the English.
These are things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world, while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study, morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all.
Amen. Thank you so much. We are going to turn now to page 212 for Baruch She'amar.
Baruch She'amar v'haya olam, Baruch hu, Baruch oseh v'reishit, Baruch omer v'oseh, Baruch gozer u'mekayem, Baruch merachem al haaretz, Baruch merachem al haberiyot, Baruch meshalem sachar tov lireyav, Baruch chaylad v'kayam lanetzach, Baruch bodeh u'matzil, Baruch Shemo.
Page 215.
Ashri yoshvi v'techa od yirlucha selah.
Ashrei ha'am shekach lo, ashrei ha'am she'anai Elohav.
תהילה לדוד עמים חלואי המלך וברכה שמך לעולם ועד.
הכל יום אברכך ושמך לעולם ועד.
גדול אדוני מולן מאוד ולגדולתו אין חקר.
דור לדור ישבח מעשיך וברותיך יגידו.
הדר כבודותיך ודברי נפלאותיך עשיך.
וזו תורתך יאמרו אספרנה.
זכר טובך יביאו וצדקתך ירננו.
ענון ורחום אדוני ערך אפיים ודור חסד.
טוב אדוני לעקוב ורחמיו וכל מעשיו.
יודוך עיני כל מעשיך ועשיתך יברכוך.
כבוד מלכותך יאמרו וברתך ידברו.
להודיע לבני האדם גבורותיו וכל אדם מלכותו.
מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים וממשלתך בכל דור והדור.
סומך אדוני לכל הנופלים וזוקף לכל הכבבים.
הנה כל אליך יסברו ואתה נותן להם את אוכלם בעיתו.
פותח ידיך ומשפיע לכל הרצון.
צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו וחסיד בכל מעשיו.
ערוב עיני לכל קוריו וכל אשר יקראו באמת.
ורצון יריב יעשה ואת שבתם ישמע ויושיע.
שומר עיני כל רבב וכל ראשים ישמיע.
תהילת אדוני ידבר פיו יברך ובשר שם קודשו לעולם ועד.
ואנחנו נברך ים מעתה ועד עולם. Hallelujah. That word hallelujah means praise God. It's a Hebrew word. We're going to turn now to page 218 for Psalm 150.
The words of our great psalmist have also been set to music by Leonard Cohen. If you know this melody, join in. Hallelujah, 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 birki ahulza, hallelujah, bikurta, hallelujah, biragula, hallelujah, bidikashulta, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Page 222, second paragraph.
שוכן עד מרום וקדוש שמו וכתוב רננו צדיקים באדוני לישרים נגע תהילה בפי ישרים תתהלל ובדברי צדיקים תתברך ובלשון חסידים תתרומם ובקרב קדושים תתקדש ובמקהלות רבבות עמך את ישראל בני נדבר שמך מכיר בכל דור ודור ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו שמיים ובארץ ברוך אתה אדוני אל מלך גדול בתשבחות אל ההודעות אדון הנפלאות הבו הבוחר בשירי זמרה מלך אל חיי עולמי.
224.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
ומדברך אלוהי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתבאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי קודשה ויחו לעילה מנחה ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה ואמירן בעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
That concludes our sort of warm-up part of our service. And so now it's my pleasure to call up Daniel Melman to our bima. And also I'd like to call up Daniel's grandmother, Marilyn Nussbaum, as well, to present Daniel with his talit. Now, Daniel, you see, I'm wearing this talit right here. This was given to me when I became a bar mitzvah. And I say became a bar mitzvah, not got bar mitzvahed, because I'm still a bar mitzvah all these years later. And that's something that's important for you to know, is that is our hope, is that today isn't just a day. It's the beginning of a journey where you will live a life committed to Jewish community and Jewish values as well, and proud of being Jewish. And so today really is kind of a change of status for you. And the talit signifies that you're taking on this new status in your life. And so we hope that you'll use this talit throughout your life for many happy moments ahead for you, and that wherever you go in the world, you can wear this talit, and people will see that you've taken on this status of becoming a bar mitzvah. But also when you have difficult weeks, I hope you put on this talit, and it'll feel like a warm hug from this community and from God and from everybody in your life who's been with you on your Jewish journey. So we have this beautiful talit here. I will ask you to take a hold of it. And
Daniel,
go ahead,
it's an
Grandma.
honor for me to give you this talis that was grandfather Jacob's, and he wore it at his bar mitzvah in Poland. He would be very proud of you today.
Wonderful. Go ahead, you could lead us in the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehishatecha.
I am ready and willing to take on mitzvot as a Jewish adult. Today I affirm that my Jewishness matters to me. I promise to take seriously my Jewish obligation and take care of others and to take care of our earth. I promise to take seriously my relationship with Torah even when it upsets me. I promise that I will never stop learning. When Moses stood at the burning bush, God identified God's self as I am becoming, who I am becoming. God is always becoming something new, and so am I. I don't know what my future holds, but I will meet that future as a Jew. I will try to question, and I will try to love the stranger, and I will try to be grateful starting right here, right now.
And since you've put on this talit, which is kind of the first mitzvah that you're doing as a bar mitzvah, we have a special blessing for helping us reach this wonderful, happy moment for when you do something for the first time. So please join in with us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Amen. We rise for the Baruch Hu on page 226.
La 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 la
Baruch Adonai Hamevora Le'olam Vaed. You may be seated. We are on page 231. I would like to invite up Daniel's aunt, Tamar Melman, to lead us in a reading. Come on up. At the top of the page. 230. Mm-hmm.
Once or twice in a lifetime, a man or woman may choose a radical leaving, having heard, Licha, go forth. God disturbs us towards our destiny by hard events and by freedom's now urgent voice, which explode and confirm who we are. We don't like leaving, but God loves becoming.
Baruch Ata Adonai Bocher Be'amo Yisrael Be'ahava. Thank you so much. We're going to turn now to 232 as Daniel leads us in the Shema. Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad
Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavecha ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבת על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, Adonai Elohechem, Amen.
I'd like to invite up Maya Eckstein to lead us in a responsive reading. Page 239 at the top of the page. Okay.
Emet, there is no place where you are not, even in the wilderness there is your word.
Together, Emet,
Emet.
that pin strokes of lightning, white fire, black flame, stir the soul's passion, guide our sacred way. True and enduring is Torah.
Your truth for us is certain and established, now and forevermore. Like Moses, Miriam, and all Israel, we sing out and rejoice.
And so we will sing out. Thank you so much. We will sing out. We will celebrate having that freedom and also do so in prayer that one day everybody will have their own freedoms as well. We're on page 240 for Micha Mocha.
מי כמוך בעלים אדוני, מי כמוך לדעת הקודש, נולדתי לך, אסיפן, שירה חדשה, יבחו גלים לשמחה, אסיפת היום, אספת היום, יעבדו, והמליכו ויעבירו,
Please rise.
בעזרת ישראל, ובנחיתך, יהודה וישראל, עלינו, אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
242.
Adonai sefatati tahufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips and my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'il Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, Hillel Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מחכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידה מלאה, מלך מימי ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל.
Kedusha's on page 248.
נקדיש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשממתו, ככתוב ביד נביאך, וקרא זה לזה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוא הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו
Echad Adonai Mimekamo.
אחד הוא אלוהינו,
Avinu Malkeinu,
ומושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל החי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם,
Yimloch Adonai Leolam, Elohai Yitzion, Ledor Vador. Hallelujah.
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
דור ודור,
לדור ודור נגיד טוב לך, לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
דור ודור.
לדור ודור נגיד טוב לך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש,
לעולם, לעולם ועד.
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
דור ודור.
לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
ודור.
לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם לעולם נעד. ברוך אתה אדוני
We continue silently through page 200, through page 260, or you can use this as an opportunity for your own prayers of your heart, and when you are finished, you may be seated. I'd love to invite up at this time as well Melissa Goldberg, Daniel's aunt, to make her way up here too. I'm guessing you're related to Amy.
Oh
you. Yasher Koach.
Wow.
It is nice to have talented family, huh? There you go. Thank you so much. And we are going to, this time, turn to our Seder Kriyat HaTorah, our Torah service. You can find that on page 362 of the Siddur. Let's see, do we have a laminated page in here, Cantor? Do you know?
It's supposed to be here, but I don't know, underneath something.
Maybe it's underneath something. There it is. And we're going to need a little bit of help for this part of the service. And so for the passing of the Torah, I'd like to invite up Daniel's grandparents and also his parents to come on up and join us on the bima over here. And I would also like to invite up for the honor of opening the ark, Phoebe and Noah Eckstein, Daniel's cousins, to come on up here as well. We're on page 362. Daniel, will you please lead us?
Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai ve'ein kamasecha.
מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. הרחמים היטיבה ברצונך את ציון.
תבנה חומות ירושלים, תבנה חומות
ירושלים. כי לך לבד בתנו מלך ורם ונישא אדון העולם.
Please rise as the ark is open.
Vayahi ben Sawah Haron, Vayomer Moshe.
Kuma Adonai v'yafutzu orvecha v'yanusu misanecha
mipanecha ki mitziat tetzei Torah, ki mitziat tetzei Torah, u'devar Adonai miYerushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato v'rishamidem harayalma.
On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer to life, to peace, and to joy. May we find true rest, holiness in our deeds, worth in our study of Torah. Let us feed on the love of goodness. Let us drink from the love of goodness. Restrain our thirst for excess, and cleanse our hearts to serve life well. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer in life, in peace, and in joy. Baruch atah Adonai she'otcha levadecha v'yira na'avod. Ve'anarachet ve'lishme kadisha kadisha yakira ana echad
Retush bechad ve'anarachet Eretz, Velishme Kadisha, Kadisha Yakira, Anai Martush Becha, Yehira Ava Kadama, Tiftach Libi Ve'oraita, V'tashli Mishali Delibi, Veliba Decholama Israel, Letavu Lechayit Velishlam.
Daniel, we read in our tradition how God gave the Torah to Moses on Mount Sinai, and Moses gave it to Joshua, who gave it to the elders, who gave it to the prophets, who gave it to the rabbis, who eventually handed it down among the people. And each generation not only received the Torah, but built on it, and built on their understanding of it and their teaching of it. And there have been moments like this one, there are moments of joy and happiness where we've danced and sang and read the Torah loudly and in front of everyone with pride. And there have been moments, too, for our people where we've had to read the Torah often in secret and in hiding. But we've continued to do so because the Torah has a message of beauty and light and kindness that the world needs. And so we are going to pass this Torah to your grandparents, to your parents, and to you. And our hope is that you take these words of Torah and the values in this Torah, and that you don't let them stop with you. That not only you pass them to future generations, but also that you'll pass those messages of kindness and love and tolerance and decency to every person who you encounter in your life as well.
We protect this chain from generation to generation. Letorvado, his lips shall praise your name.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shema.
Echad Eloheinu,
Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shema.
Gadol Adonai Iti.
All
right, go ahead.
השמיים ובארץ תיפול השמיים כמובן לך אדוני הממלכה תמיד נעשה לכל רוממו רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו לאדום רגליו קדוש. Oh, Romemu, welcome. Romemu, Shabbat Shalom. Adonai, welcome Eloheinu. V'ishtachavu lehar kodesho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Eveinu shalom aleichem. Eveinu shalom aleichem. Eveinu shalom aleichem. Eveinu shalom, shalom, Shalom Alechem, Heivenu Shalom Alechem, Heivenu Shalom Alechem, Heivenu Shalom Alechem, Heivenu Shalom, 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 Lo Yisa Goy El Goy Cheret, Lo Yilmedu Od Milchama, Lo Yisa Goy El Goy Cheret, Lo Yilmedu Od Milchama.
You may be seated. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I had a temporary moment of panic, not knowing what to do, because week after week after week, David Asman is always standing right here to undress the Torah for us, and so he is not here today. I'm happy to share the reason why, is because he became a grandfather the other day, and his son, daughter-in-law had a healthy baby girl. I'm so happy for him. We are in Parshat Shalach Lecha. Does that sound right to you, Daniel? Okay, good. Just making sure. And this is a pretty famous Torah portion. There's one of the things that we will hear in a bit is the Ve'ahavta, something that many of you know well, one of our well-known prayers that we find in the Torah this week about teaching the values of the Torah to our children. And also what's in here that Daniel's going to talk about some a bit is the story of the spies who went and scouted out the land of Israel and came back with their negative report. I talked a bit about this last night and how sometimes we see in our case in our world that the majority opinion is not always the correct opinion. And so that was a very early example of that. Maybe if we think hard, we can find other examples too. And so we are going to begin. Where did that luach just go? I just saw it.
Oh, look.
There we go.
Here.
Oh, it's right there too.
It's always there.
We are going to call up our first aliyah. For the honor of chanting Torah, we are going to call up the father of our bar mitzvah, Yonatan Melman, who's going to be reading from the book of Numbers, chapter 15, verse 8. And you can find that in the red Eitz Chaim Humash on page 851. So Yonatan, you can start making your way up here. And how do you think he's going to do? You think he's got confidence in you? All right. And for the honor of the first aliyah, we are going to call up the cousin of our bar mitzvah, Gabby Eckstein. Yamod, Gabriel ben Yoram, the aliyah Rishon.
Wait just 1 second.
Welcome. Let's see, where are we starting from?
We are at 15 verse 8,
Yeah.
which is the middle of the paragraph.
Give us
So-
1 quick second.
Yep, sorry. Just lost it. Let me get there. Okay, 15, 8.
What's the first word?
The first word is V'chit hasevin bakar olah.
Okay, give us 1 second. We will find right there. Is
That's
that
it.
it?
Perfect.
Look at that.
Look at
5
that.
years of rabbinical school paying off. Come on over here. You can take this. Touch. And kiss. And go ahead and lead us in the blessing. It's right here. Baruch
ברכו את אדוני מבורך,
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
ברוך אדוני מבורך לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו, ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Come on over here.
You can take that.
אמן, וכי תעשה בן בקר עולה או זבח לפלי נדר או שלמים לאדוני, והקריב על בן הבקר מנחה סולת 3 עשרונים בלול בשמן חצי ההין, ויין תקריב לנסך חצי ההין אישה ריח ניחוח לאדוני. תודה.
Go ahead.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Yeshua, you can come stand right here for right now. And beautiful chanting. Thank you. You can return to your seat. All right, and for the honor, our second Torah chanter is going to be the mother of our bar mitzvah, Amy Nussbaum, and we are on verse 11, again, page 851. And for the honor of the second Aliyah, we're going to call up Brian and Melissa Goldberg, the aunt and uncle of our bar mitzvah. Ya Amdu, Miriam Zisel Bat Yaakov, Avraham Yisrael ben Simcha, the Aliyah Hasheni. Like take your talit. That works either way. And touch. Kiss. Go ahead. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim ונתן לנו את תורתו, ברוך אתה אדוני, נותן התורה.
Amen.
אמן. ככה יעשה לשור האחד, או לאייל האחד, או לשבע כבשים, או בעזים. כמספר אשר תעשו, כאחד, תעשו לאחד כמספרם. כל האזרח יעשה ככה את אלה להקריב, אישי ריח ניחוח אדוני. וכי יגור אתכם גר, או אשר בתוככם לדורותיכם. ועשה אישי ריח ניחוח לאדוני כאשר תעשו כן יעשה. הקהל חוקה אחת לכם ולגר הגר חוקת עולם לדורותיכם. ככם כגר יהי לפני אדוני. תורה אחת ומשפט אחד יהיה לכם ולגר הגר אתכם.
Mitzvah. Beautiful. Touch the talit to the word. Word there. Beautiful. Tada. Right, agree.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam natan betוכנו. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yashikah. Beautiful chanting. Let's see. Brian and Melissa, you can come step over here. Gabby, you can return to your seat. Where are you visiting from, by the way? DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth. Welcome. And you all are from Georgia, you said? Whereabouts? The Atlanta area? Very nice. Welcome. Thrilled to have you here. For the honor, for our third Torah Aliyah, the chanter will be Paul Melman, grandfather of our bar mitzvah. We're on verse 17, still page 851. And for the congregation Aliyah this week, Virginia Hecker, wonderful to see you. Amod, what's your Hebrew name? Vidal. Bat Hava. Mikol, the Aliyah Hashlishit. Yeah, let me give you. You good? Wonderful to see you, Virginia.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Amen.
All right, Grandpa.
Go ahead.
וידבר את אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת אליהם, בבואכם אל הארץ אשר אני מביא אתכם שמה, היה באוכלכם מכל לחם הארץ, ותרימו תרומה לאדוני, ראשית אריסותיכם חלה תרימו תרומה, כתרומות גורן כן תרימו אותה. מראשית אריסותיכם תיתנו לאדוני, תרומה לדורותיכם.
Well done. Oh, sorry. Yeah, here you go. I'm hogging it.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chaye olam nata b'tachenu. Baruch Ata Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Yeshua, thank you for beautiful chanting. You may return to your seats. We are on page 852, verse 22. Our next Torah chanter will be Yael Millman. You can return to your seat, by the way. Thank you for beautiful chanting. And Virginia, you can hang out there or come over here, whichever you prefer. And for the honor of the fourth Aliyah, we have Yona Eckstein and Maya Eckstein. Yona Bat Yoram Maya Bat Yoram Aliyah Revi. Where are you all visiting from? Richmond, Virginia. I think you told me that last night. Welcome. Thrilled to have you here. And here, you can take that yellow thing right there, and you can touch, kiss, and bless. Sure. Yeah, here.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch Ata Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Amen.
וכי תשגו ולא תעשו את כל המצוות האלה אשר דיבר אדוני אל משה, את כל אשר ציווה אדוני אליכם ביד משה מן היום אשר ציווה אדוני והלאה לדורותיכם. והיה אם מעיני העדה נעשתה לשגגה, ועשו כל העדה פר בן בקר אחד לעולה לריח ניחוח לאדוני, ומנחתו ונשכו כמשפט, ושעיר עזים אחד לחטאת. וכיפר הכהן על כל עדת בני ישראל, ונסלח להם כשגגה הוא היא, והם הביאו את קורבנם איש של אדוני וחטאתם לפני אדוני על שגגתם, ונסלח לכל עדת בני ישראל ולגר הגר בתוכם, כי לכל העם וישתגע. כל הכבוד לך.
Go ahead.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נתן בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Yesher Koach. Thank you. Ladies, you can step right over here. Grandma, you can go back to your seat. We've got grandparents visiting from Boston, originally from Hulon, they said. You're also from Hulon? Very nice. And so we, in Israel, in case you don't know where Hulon is, we are going to, for our fifth Aliyah, our Torah chanter will be Tamar Melman, Daniel's aunt. And where are you visiting from? New York. And we are on verse 27, page 853. And for the honor of the fifth Aliyah, we're going to call up some family friends. Let's see, we have here Ray and Alyssa and Ben first. Ya Amdu, Svi Ben Yosef, Aliza Ruth, Benjamin Ben Svi, La'aliyah HaChamishi. Again, verse 27, page 853. Let's see. All right. Let's see if you can take this and go ahead. Touch. Where's who?
Come on up.
Go ahead. Baruch Adonai Hamrach Le'olam Va'ed. Amen.
ואם נפש אחת תחטא בשגגה, והקריבה אז בת שנתה לחטאת, וכיפר הכהן על הנפש השוגגת, וחטא בשגגה לפני אדוני, לכפר עליו ונסלח לו. האזרח בבני ישראל, ולגר הגר בתוכם, תורה אחת תהיה לכם, לעושה בשגגה, והנפש אשר תעשה ביד רמה, מן האזרח ומן הגר, את אדוני הוא מגדף, ונכרתה הנפש ההיא מקרב עמה, כי דבר אדוני בזה, ואת מצוותו הפר. הכרת הנפש ההיא עונה.
Touch from here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah v'vayachei olam natei v'Torahenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Yeshua, you guys can come on over here, and you all can return to your seats. Thank you. Where are you visiting from? Holiday, Utah. You didn't come very far. Well, welcome. Happy to have you here. And we are going to call up now for the honor of sixth Aliyah. Our Torah chanter is going to be Uncle Ben Melman. We are on verse 32, chapter 15, verse 32, page 854. And for the honor of the sixth Aliyah, we'll call up Marilyn Nussbaum and Paul and Yael Melman. So all the grandparents come on up. Ya Amdu, Malkafeya Bat Herschel, Paul, Ben. What are your parents' names, Paul? You know? Hey, that's all right. And the Yael Bat Beno La'aliyah Hashishi. Go ahead. Baruch Adonai Amvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher בחר בנו מכל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Go ahead.
ויהיו בני ישראל במדבר, וימצאו איש מקושש עצים ביום השבת, ויקריבו אותו המוצאים אותו מקושש עצים אל משה ואל אהרון ואל כל העדה, ויניחו אותו במשמר, כי לא פורש מה יעשה לו. ויאמר אדוני אל משה, מות יומת האיש, רגום אותו באבנים כל העדה מחוץ למחנה. ויוציאו אותו כל העדה אל מחוץ למחנה, וירגמו אותו באבנים, וימות כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה.
כל הכבוד. Did you touch the spot? Kiss that.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, b'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Yeshua, thank you. You all can come over here. You all can return to your seats. Thank you. Where are you visiting from? New York. And you? Georgia, another Georgia. Wonderful. Well, thank you. We are going to turn now to our seventh Aliyah, which is verse 37, page 854. Our Torah reader will be our bar mitzvah, Daniel. And for the honor of the seventh Aliyah, we're going to call up his parents, Amy Nussbaum and Yonatan Melman. Ya'amdu, Yehudit Dina Bat Yaakov, Ve Yonatan Ben Paul Aliyah Hashvi. All right, show them where you're at.
All right. There. Right there.
Go ahead.
Baruch
Adonai Hamrach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe Lemor. Daber el bnei Yisrael ve'amrita aleihem ve'asu lahem tzitzit al kanfei vigdehem ledorotam ve'natenu al tzitzit hakanaf patil techelet ve'haya lachem letzitzit ureitem oto Uzachartem et kol mitzvot Adonai v'asitem otam v'lo taturu acharei levavchem ve'acharei einechem asher atem zonin achareihem leman tishkaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
כל הכבוד. Great job.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Yeshua. All right, thank you. We are going beautiful chanting. Feel like I've heard that before. That came from the Ve'ahavta. So this time you all can return to your seats. Daniel, I'll have you come sit back right over here for a moment, and we're going to turn our thoughts to those who are in need of healing of the mind, body, and spirit with our prayer for healing, the Misha Berach, which you can find on 371 in Blue Book.
May the source of strength, the blessed, the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
This week we think of these members of our community and their loved ones who could use a prayer for healing. Gitaleah bat Mashachana, I'm Yosef ben Shana Libby, Gilachaya bat Mordechai Leib v'Gilaleah, Aharon ben Avram v'Sara, David ben Mordechai, Saul Haragi, Micah Yared ben Elchanan Yitzhak ve'Elisa Elka, Lisa Elka bat Chaya Leba ve'Eli Melech, Elena Bromowitz, Jennifer Collins, Mary Jane Levy Dixon, Thomas Dixon, David Dowsett, Itzhak Vigilski, Will Goldman, Sharon Katz, Jeffrey W. Levy, Megan Magleby, Janet S. Morley, Shari Pedersen, Shu Mei Shi, Penny Spector, and Judy Wolf. And if you have a name to share, when I look in your direction, you're welcome to add that name as well. Amy?
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit. Let us say Amen.
And turn to the Hatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadosh Shemei Rabbah,
Amen.
B'yamod Yivrach Yirodeh, B'yamlik Malchuteh, B'chayecho Nov Yom Echad, U'lechayedecho Beit Yisrael, B'gala, U'bizman Kariv Ve'imru.
Amen.
Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevarach, Le'alam U'l'olam Me'amaya.
Yiparach.
Yitbarach ve'yishabach, yitbar v'yidramam v'yidnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, Shemei Dekodeshah.
Brihu.
Le'ila mincha birchata v'shirata,
Tushbechata
v'nechemata, Tamiran mi'arba v'yimeru. Amen.
Everything that Daniel has done so far, I hope you would agree with me that he's done beautifully. Stood up here and led us and led us in some of the prayers and had a lot of confidence and even just chanted Torah beautifully. However, what you might not know is that you can chant Torah or lead prayers really almost at any age. Like anybody, even somebody as young as 8 years old, can go and chant Torah. So, Emily, if you are interested, I can make that happen. But being called up for an aliyah and doing the blessing over the Torah is something that's reserved for somebody who has reached the age of bar or bat mitzvah. And so, really, I like to think that if there was like a moment of bar mitzvah, it's this one. So hopefully we'll watch closely and see if we notice any change in Daniel or anything like that. But also, with this part of the Torah that we're about to read, which is known as the Maftir, which is going to be, again, those same verses, verse 37 through 41 on page 854. That is reserved for a person of honor. And today, we don't really have anyone that I can think of that is more deserving of this honor than Daniel. So, again, let's watch closely, and we will see if we notice any change in him. Ya'amod, Ya'amod, Ya'amod. Daniel Nachman ben Yonatan Pinchas v'Yehudit Adina ha'maftir v'habar mitzvah. And open, and let's find your spot where you change. Touch. Thank you. Kiss. And go ahead and do the blessing. Baruch Adonai Amroch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamrach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Michol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torto. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Is that right?
Amen. Vayomer Adonai El Moshe Lemor. Daber El Bnei Yisrael ve'amrita aleihem ve'asu lahem tzitzit al kanfei vigdehem ledorotam ve'natenu al tzitzit hakanaf petil techelet ve'haya lechem letzitzit ureitem oto uzachartem et kol mitzvot Adonai va'asitem otam ve'lo taturu acharei levavchem ve'acharei einechem asher atem zonin achareihem v'man tishkaru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher natad lanu torat emet v'chaye olam natah b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Yasher koach. And in our community, instead of clapping or anything like that in the service, when somebody does something beautifully, like chant Torah perfectly, what we often say is Yasher koach, which means way to go. So if you agree with me, you can say Yasher koach too. Yasher koach, Daniel.
Yasher koach.
And at this time, in this moment of you becoming bar mitzvah, really, we are going to offer you a blessing for you becoming bar mitzvah.
משברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב ואמותינו שרה תברכם ולאה הוא יברך את דניאל נחמיה בן יהודית ויונתן שהגיע למצוות ולכבוד המקום ולכבוד התורה ולכבוד השבת הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמרהו ויחייהו ויחונן את ליבו להיות שלם עם אדוני אלוהיו להגות בתורתו, ללכת בדרכיו, ולשמור מצוותיו, וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיו. יזכו הוריו לגדלו לתורה ולחופה someday, ולמעשים טובים, וימצא חן לספר טוב בין אלוהים ואדם, ונאמר Amen.
May God, who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless Daniel Melman, who has come for an aliyah upon reaching the age of mitzvah with reverence for God, respect for the Torah, and for this Shabbat day. May the Kadosh Baruch Hu protect and sustain Daniel, helping him to be wholehearted in his faith, to study Torah and fulfill mitzvot, and to walk in God's ways. May his parents rear him to maturity, guiding Daniel to the blessings of Torah, a loving relationship, and if he chooses one day, the chuppah, and a life of ma'asim tovim, of good deeds. May he find favor before God and the community, and let us say, Amen. So at this time, we are going to lift and dress the Torah. For the honor of lifting the Torah, I'd like to invite up Brian Goldberg, Daniel's uncle. And for the honor of dressing the Torah, we would like to invite up Daniel's sister, Emily. And Harry as well, cousin, right? And cousin Harry Goldberg. Come on up, Harry. Sorry I missed you there. And so, as they yamdu, hamabiyaveha golim. And so, as we lift the Torah, I would like to invite, please, rise.
Torah asher sa Moshe libnei bnei Yisrael ad bi'Adonai v'yad Moshe Torah Torah tiva lanu Moshe Torah tiva lanu Moshe Torah, tiva lanu Moshe. Torah, tiva lanu Moshe. Ashlosha devarim, ashlosha devarim, ashlosha devarim, olam, olam, amen. Ashlosha devarim, ashlosha devarim, ashlosha devarim, olam, olam, amen. Ala Torah ve'ala avoda ve'agimilut chasadim. Ala Torah ve'ala avoda ve'agimilut
You may be seated, and at this time I'd like to invite Daniel to please lead us in his Devar Torah, his teaching on this week's Torah portion.
Shabbat Shalom, and thank you for being here today.
Shabbat
This
Shalom.
week's parasha, Shalach Lecha, is from the book of Numbers. It is considered one of the most tragic stories in the entire Torah. Moses, in an order from God, sends 12 spies, representatives from each of the 12 spies of Israel, to Canaan for 40 days. He orders the spies to scope out the land and report back on the people and living conditions. Specifically, he asks them to find out if there are many or few people, if the cities are fortified or weak, and if the soil is fertile. After the 40 days, the spies return and bring Moses fruit from the land. They report back that the land is, quote, indeed flowing with milk and honey, and this is its fruit. However, 10 of the 12 spies report back that the cities in Canaan are fortified and large, and the people are very powerful. Quote, we cannot attack those people. They are stronger than we are. All the people we saw are of great size. We seemed like grasshoppers. Only 2 of the spies, Caleb and Joshua, were reassuring, stating, quote, we should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it. In the end, God kills 10 of the 12 spies, sparing the lives of Caleb and Joshua. He banishes the Israelites to 40 years in the desert, one for each day they visited Canaan, so that a new generation, one that did not live under slavery, can return and inhabit the land. The 10 spies were Israelites, leaders of people of Israel who did not cave lightly to fear. With the help of God and his 10 plagues in the year prior, the Israelites were able to defeat the Egyptian Empire, one of the most strongest and longest lived of all the empires in the ancient world. So what were the spies afraid of? The late Rabbi Jonathan Sachs has said that those 10 spies were afraid of not failure, but of success. If they conquered and inhabited Canaan, they would have a lot of work to do. They would have to worry about fighting future battles, maintaining an army, farming the land, and producing enough crops for their people. They would have many of the same economic, social, and political problems that other foreign nations have to deal with. They also feared that by not spending their entire lives learning Torah, they would lose some of their closeness to God. The spies ultimately feared success, freedom, and the responsibilities that came with it. I thought about this message a lot and what it means to me in my daily life. For almost my entire life, I've had problems with speech, first with articulation and then for a number of years, speech fluency and stuttering. I have learned to speak with intention, only raising my hand in class when I feel comfortable with my speech. In the classroom, I often don't share more than is necessary to assure that I won't get stuck or, quote, fail. This is true even if I have something good to say or if I know the correct answer. Preparing for today, both in Hebrew and English, has added another level of stress over the past 6 months. Not only adding the fear of what if I fail or get stuck while speaking, but what if I actually succeed? What if I finish today without stuttering or better? What if I don't care if I do stutter? Not only would I have to lean on my old familiar tactics of limiting my speaking, but I would potentially open myself up to other possibilities ahead, such as debate team and public speaking. Just like those 10 spies who went to Canaan and returned with a poor report of the land. Would their fate and the history of the Jewish people be different if they were not afraid of success? For my mitzvah project last fall, my Koami classmate Max Brandt and I chose to support the Humane Society of Utah. We hosted a walk at Sugar House Park and raised money and collected donation items for the animals at the shelter. I also gave a short speech to those that attended, and while I was nervous, I overcame my fear and did it. What if we were too nervous that our event would not be a success? Max and I could have decided to not set up an event due to the amount in time and preparation and fear that we would not be successful and waste the Humane Society's time and materials that they gave us to use. In the end, we decided the cause and potential result superseded any fears we had. We raised over $2,000 for the Humane Society of Utah. To me, becoming a bar mitzvah means becoming a Jewish adult. Part of becoming a Jewish adult means overcoming challenges and fears to get here, and I certainly had to do that to where I am today. I have more responsibility and control over myself and actions. Becoming a bar mitzvah is a coming of age. I can now be counted as a minyan and am eligible for an aliyah. Also, when you become a b'nai mitzvah, you are required to perform mitzvot, which means commandments. This means lighting Shabbat candles, fasting on Yom Kippur, and performing tzedakah or charity. Being Jewish may mean something different for everyone. For some people, it means going to services every week, while for others, it just means celebrating Jewish holidays. While my mother was raised Reform and attended services with her family almost weekly, my father came from a less religious Israeli family who emphasized culture and holidays with family and close friends instead. I feel fortunate that I've able to experience a combination of both while living here in Utah. I have attended religious school and services at Koami, while also enjoying holidays spent with family and family friends when our extended family cannot be nearby. I feel fortunate that my family has a Jewish community here in Salt Lake City, and I look forward to attending more big seders, Hanukkah dinners, and Yom Kippur breakfasts with them. To me, all this is what it means to be Jewish, and I am proud to be part of this community. I would like to thank Rabbi Sam Spector and Cantor Sharon Brown Levy for their teachings that have led me to today. I would also like to thank David Asman for his wonderful support and guidance, as well as my Hebrew school teachers who have helped me prepare for this day. I want to thank Tom Gerster, my speech teacher, for the many years of help and support. I would also like to thank my parent sister, Emily, as well as those who traveled from across the country to be here with me today. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for that beautiful speech. I love that. And we are going to now turn to our Haftarah, which you can find in the Eitz Chaim Chumash, page 857. Daniel's going to be chanting from Joshua chapter 2, verse 1 through 24. And the connection is that the Haftarah begins with Joshua sending out spies as well. Let's see, do you have the blessing? Let's see, we can find it. 1 second. It's in here, I know.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratzah b'divrei hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'b'nviei ha'emet v'tzedek. Vayishlach Yehoshua bin Nun min hashitim shenaim anashim meragalim cheresh lemor lechu re'u et ha'artz ve'et Yericho vayelechu vayavo'u beit isha zona Ushma rachav vayishkavu shama vayei amar lamelech Yericho lemor hine anashim ba'u hena halayalach mi b'nei Yisrael lachpor et ha'aret Vayishlach melech Yericho el rachav lemor hotzi ha'anashim haba'im elayich asher ba'u leveitech ki lachpor et kol ha'artz ba'u vatikach ha'isha et shnei ha'anashim v'titzpeno v'tomer kain ba'u elai ha'anashim v'lo yadati me'ain hema v'hi hashar Liskor b'choshech v'ha'anashim yatza'u lo yadati ana halechu ha'anashim ridfu maher acharehem ki tasigum v'hi he'elatan Hagaga vatitmenem bifishtei ha'etz ha'aruchodra al hagag v'ha'anashim radefu acharehem derech hayarden al hamaberot והשאר סגרו אחרי כאשר יצאו הרודפים אחריהם והמה טרם ישכבון והיא עלתה עליהם על הגג ותאמר אל האנשים ידעתי כי נתן אדוני להם האנשים וכי נפלה אימתכם עלינו וכי נמוגו כל יושבי הארץ מפניכם כי שמענו את אשר הוביש אדוני את מי ים סוף מפניכם בצאתכם ממצרים ואשר עשיתם לשני מלכי האמורי אשר בעבר הירדן לסיחון ולעוג אשר החרמתם אותם ונשמע וימאס לבבנו ולא קמה עוד רוח באיש מפניכם כי אדוני אלוהיכם הוא אלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת ועתה הישבעו נא לי באדוני כי עשיתי עמכם חסד ועשיתם גם אתם עם בית אבי חסד ונתתם לי עוד אמת והחייתם את אבי ואת אמי ואת אחי ואת אחיותי ואת כל אשר להם והצלתם את נפשותינו ממוות ויאמרו האנשים נפשנו תחתיכם למות אם לא תגידו את דברנו זה והיה בתת אדוני לנו את הארץ ועשינו עמך חסד ואמת ותורידן בחבל בעד החלון כי ביתה בקיר Hachoma Uvachoma He Yoshavet Vatomer Lahan Hahara Lechu Pen Yifga'u Vachem Harodafim Vinach Beitan Shama Shiloshet Yamin Ad Shov Harodafim Ve'achar Telchu Ledarkachem Ve'yomeru Eleha Ha'anashim Nikiyin Anachnu Mishavu Ate Hazeh Asher Hishbatanu Hine Anachnu Va'im Ba'aret Etikvat Chut Hashani Hazeh Tikshari Bachalon Asher Horatenu Vo Ve'et Avich Ve'et Imech Ve'et Achayich Ve'et Kol Beit Avich Ta'asfi Elayich Habaita Ve'haya Kol Asher Yetzeh Midalteh Ve'tech Hachutza Damo Verosho Va'anachnu Nekiyim V'chol Asher Yiyeh Itach Babayi Damo Veroshenu Im Yad Tiyebo Ve'im Tagidi Et Divarenu Zeh V'hayinu Nikiyim Mishavu Atech Asher Hishbatanu Vatomer Kedivrechem Kemhu Vatashalchem Vayelechu Vetikshor Et Tikvat Hashani Bachalon Vayelchu Vayavo'u Hahara Vayeshivu Sham Sheloshet Yamim Ad Shavu Harodafim Vayvakshu Harodafim Bechol Haderech Velo Matza'u vayashuvu shnei ha'anashim vayerdu mehahar vayavru vayavo'u El Yehoshua binun vaysaperu lo et kol hamotzot otam vayomeru El Yehoshua ki natan Adonai beyadenu et kol haaretz v'gam namogu kol yoshevei haaretz mipanenu Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzur kol ha'olamim Sadiq bechol hadorot ha'el haneman ha'omer ve'oseh ha'medaber u'mekayem shekol devarav emet v'tzedek al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nevi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu Likdusha v'limenucha, lechavod u'letifaret. Al hakol, Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim lach, u'mevarchim otach, yitbarach shimcha befi kol chai, tamid le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai,
Shema.
Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
Let's say Yashar Koach and Mazel Tov. Go. Mazel Tov esimento. Yehelanu. 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 Oh, Lecho Yisrael. Hey, kids, come help me pick up all this candy, by the way. I need all the kids to come help me. Oh, Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu. Oh, Lecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu. Oh, Lecho Yisrael. Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov. Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov. Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov. Yehelanu. One more big mazel tov.
Mazel tov!
Well, Daniel, buddy, I hope you are feeling very proud of yourself right now. I can even see under the mask a big smile. So I know that we're all so very proud of you. I think, though, probably the two people who might be most proud of you might be sitting right here in the front row. So I'd like to invite your parents to come up here and share some words with you on the occasion of you becoming bar mitzvah. Amy, Yonatan, come on up.
Daniel Melman.
Wait, come over here so we can hear you.
Oh, the microphone.
Yeah.
Is that close enough?
There you go.
Okay. Daniel, you did it. I hope you're feeling proud and relieved and happy. Getting ready for bar mitzvah is not easy for anyone, and you did it during COVID with distancing and quarantining and video lessons and Zoom, and then you got COVID, and then you had your appendix out just to top it off. You still got ready, and you did an amazing job. You're really proud of how you did. You did great today. You know, my first nickname for you when you were a little kid was Hurricane V, because you were like this little ball of endless energy. You'd walk into a room, and 5 minutes later, like all the toys were on the floor because you got to touch everything. And in the summer, you'd wake up at about 5 in the morning at the crack of dawn, and usually you'd be at the playground by like 5:30 to take some energy out. And it was just you and me, and the people that happen to be in a park at 5 in the morning, but that's another story. And even now when you're older, I think you're happiest when you're skiing or biking or literally climbing the walls now that you're into bouldering. But for this bar mitzvah, over this past year, you've had to really focus on practicing and getting ready and balancing all your activities with bar mitzvah in school. And it's been really great watching you rise to the occasion and doing such a great job today. You know, it was hard getting ready for this bar mitzvah, but I think getting ready for bar mitzvah is something that's not supposed to be easy. You're asked to do a lot of things you've never done before, learn Hebrew, learn trope, do some things that maybe are a little uncomfortable, like stand up in front of a room full of people and talk and chant. But I hope that standing here right now, you realize that if it were easy, you wouldn't really be having that feeling of pride and relief and accomplishment that you have now. And if it was just an easy thing, getting your bar mitzvah wouldn't be such a meaningful thing like it is. Now, I know that every father says this at the bar mitzvah speech, but I feel like yesterday we were going to the hospital so I could meet you for the first time. And here we are in the blink of an eye, and you're getting your bar mitzvah. And before we know it, you're going to be in high school and college and moving on with your life and doing all these great things. Now, as your father, part of me has that instinct where I hope that everything in life from here on out comes to you easily, and it's all a smooth ride, and all the great things in life just kind of fall in your lap. But I know that's not really how it works. And I also know that the things you're going to be most proud of and your biggest accomplishments won't be those easy things. They'll be those things that make you feel kind of like you do today, where you had a big goal and you had to work for it and you had to put the time in, and then you have that feeling of accomplishment when you achieve them. Now, I know we talk sometimes about what you're going to do when you're older, and we talk about being a rocket scientist or being a biologist and inventing medications or being a doctor. And maybe you'll choose one of those things, and maybe it'll be something different. But whatever it is, I hope you choose big and ambitious goals for yourself and you work hard to achieve them. And in the end, you have that same feeling of pride and accomplishment like you do today. And if you're ever striving for one of those really hard goals and it seems like the path is too hard and it's just too difficult to keep going, think back to how you felt this year, how when we started training for your bar mitzvah, it seemed like so overwhelming and you'd never get ready, but you kept at it and you worked at it and you did it, and you did an amazing job today. So I hope you don't forget that lesson from this year. I hope you don't forget how proud we all are of you, and I hope you never, ever forget how much we all love you. Congratulations.
Hi, bud. Daniel, I'm so happy to be standing up here with you today. You made it to your bar mitzvah. All of your hard work and preparation really has paid off. You did a wonderful job leading the congregation in prayer this morning. Your father and I are so proud of how well you did today. But more than that, we're proud of the wonderful young man that you've become. Daniel, you are a sensitive, empathetic, and kind young man. You've always been this way. And while your expressive speech was delayed, in the first few years of your life, I could already feel those traits of yours, even without any words. You had an innate ability to sense when a family member or a friend was worried or sad, and the kindness to offer up a hug, invite a friend to join in your play circle, or even just give a simple pat on the back to show you cared. And Daniel, when you were finally able to put a string of words together, one of the first full phrases that your father and I heard you say was, "Do I make you happy?" Well, I have no idea where that came from. That's just the kind of child that you were, always looking out for other people's feelings and making sure that they were okay. I hope that you never lose those human traits. They are so important, especially in today's world, and they're a large part of who you are. Daniel, I wish you an extraordinary life, one that's filled with all the everyday miracles of love, friendship, children, meaningful work, and a real sense of how precious it all is. You're a wonderful friend, wonderful son, and a wonderful big brother to Emily. I'm so happy to have a front row seat in your life, and I'm so grateful to be your mom.
Mom, Dad, I'll invite you to stay up here for a little bit. Daniel, I will tell you, by the way, I'll say some more words to you in a second, but everyone I talk to on our staff and in the community just loves your family. You all have gotten so involved here and are always so nice and helpful. here at Kolami. And really today is not just an accomplishment, though, for you and your family. Like you said, you grew up going to our religious school and attending classes here and services. Really, we see today as an accomplishment for our entire community, you coming to the Torah. And so I know we have a few members of our board here. Larry, are you going to be, I'd like to invite Larry Green to come on up here to present you with a gift on behalf of the Board of Trustees. There you go, my friend. Good to see you.
What else can I say? You have done well, you have studied well, and it shows. And it gives us great pleasure to offer you this Chumash for your own, very own, with the Sam Shapiro warranty, lifetime warranty if you wear it out, or in your case, when you wear it out, we will replace it for you free of charge as many times as you need to. And again, Mazel Tov.
Thank you, Larry. And let's see, I don't see last week's bat mitzvah here. I do see Eden, though. I think you were the most recent. Come on up here, Eden. Eden Garland, who became bat mitzvah just a few weeks ago. We got some gifts for you on behalf of our religious school and our B'nai Mitzvah class. So what Eden has for you here, we have a couple things. One is a Havdalah candle. Havdalah literally means separation. We light this candle on Saturday nights. I hope you go and light it tonight. And it separates Shabbat from the rest of the week. And that kind of represents how before today you couldn't be counted as a minion. You couldn't do that blessing that you did over the Torah. And there's so many things you couldn't do before today. And now going forward, you have a new role in our community, and so we hope that you bring that with you into our high school programs, and hopefully in a couple of years we'll be standing together on this bima for your confirmation service as well. And the other thing that Eden gave you here is a Kiddush cup, and it has your name and today's date engraved on it. I hope that you use this Kiddush cup for meaningful moments in your life. We use the Kiddush cup for my wife's bat mitzvah for our wedding and for our daughter's baby naming. But also sometimes you might have a difficult week, and I hope you make Kiddush with this cup on Friday nights. And remember all these people in this community that love you and support you. Thank you, Eden. And finally, just some words that I want to share with you, Daniel. Daniel, it is such a privilege to be standing on this bima with you today. I'm glad that I was able to, after being sick last week, that I can now be back here. And one of the reasons that makes me so happy is, like I said, we think you have the most wonderful family. It's always helpful and kind, and I see so much of that in you, too. Like you mentioned in your speech, you're sometimes kind of quiet, and yet when I walk into a room and I see you and you see me, you always have a smile on your face. You always greet me with this wonderful smile. And even without, you've found a way without words to communicate so much and to let people know that they're special. And I appreciate that about you tremendously. And your speech today, wow, I was telling my colleagues about it and saying I learned some new things about this week's Torah portion, and the way you were able to personally be vulnerable and find yourself in the Torah really inspired me as well. And so I hope this is, like I always tell people, not an end moment for you, but a beginning moment, because I think that you have so many wonderful traits that the world and the Jewish community really need, especially kindness. And I hope that you continue to come here and bring that with you every time you come through our doors. And so I have something else here for you, and that is a certificate. In case tomorrow you wake up and say, did that really happen? That didn't feel real. Maybe I have to go chant my Haftarah and Maftir a few more times. You're welcome to, but you don't have to necessarily. Or if for some reason anybody ever doubts that you became a bar mitzvah, I want you to take out this certificate and show it to them and show it to yourself and have it as a reminder that yes, you, Daniel Melman, were called to the Torah as a bar mitzvah, and that you were able to accomplish something and become something that you worked so very hard for. Mazel tov to you. And I'd like to invite up how about your sister comes on up for 1 second too. Emily, come on up here. We are going to offer you and your family the oldest blessing in our tradition, the priestly blessing that's found in the Torah that we use for our most important moments. Daniel, we pray that God will bless you and keep you safe. And just as we found this wonderful kindness in you and that smile that you seem to greet people with all the time, we pray that God will always smile on you and be kind to you too. As you go out now as a bar mitzvah, you have a duty to make the world a holier, more peaceful place that reflects our Jewish values. And we pray that as you do, God will grant you the most precious gift of all, a lifelong journey filled with peace. And together we say, Amen. Mazel tov, my friend. You've worked very, very hard today. You've been on your feet the whole morning. We're going to give you a little bit of a break, and we're going to return the Torah to the Ark. And to do so, I'd like to invite up Mike Proskin and Graham Proskin to open the Ark, and Seth Kaufman to return the Torah to the Ark. And to do this, we are in the prayer book on page 374, and I'll invite you to please rise. Cool. How about each of you go? And one of you can go there. You can just say it right there. You may be seated, and Daniel, we'll give you a moment to go hang out with your family too. And Oh, shoot, I forgot that. Well, we missed it. And so we are going to, at this time, I forgot to announce the new month. I'm sorry. We have a new month coming up this week. That's an announcement. Do you have so just to let you all know, I'm sorry, I forgot to announce it. Rabbis make mistakes too. We can't all be as perfect as the bar mitzvah boy. So the Rosh Chodesh Tammuz will begin Tuesday night, Wednesday, and Thursday. May it be a good month for us all. And I would like to acknowledge our staff and the Board of Trustees who I see here. I see our new Director of Maintenance, William Calderon. William, can you wave to everyone? Wave. So just wave. All right. So and if you don't know William yet, please introduce yourself to him. We're thrilled to have him on our team. And also Danny Berman, our Executive Director, I see here. And I think Meriden might be in the kitchen. We're grateful for her as well. And big thanks to our Board of Trustees. I saw Greg Saunders here earlier. And I want to thank Virginia Hecker and Larry Green, who I see. I see a few incoming board members, but you're not board yet, so I can't. I'll mention you in a couple months, promise. And also a shout out to our Cantor Emeritus, Cantor Lori Loeb. And thank you also to the Salt Lake City Police Department for being here to keep us all safe. I would love to invite one of our board members to make some, Larry, come on up, to make some announcements about upcoming events in our community.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom to everybody. Mazel Tov to Daniel, and all good things to your family for gracing us with your talent and your reading and your chanting during the service. We really, really appreciate it. Okay. Our Tat Shabbat service is next week, Friday, July 1st, at a new time, just for summer, 5 p.m. Join Rabbi Spector at Kol Ami for a half-hour service of Shabbat songs, stories, and fun. Our summer Shabbat service next week will be held at the home of Melissa Jensen and Michael Widener. Did I get that right? Okay, thanks. Check your emails for the link to register for the address. You should have received your membership renewals in the mail. Please submit the form along with your 25% down payment by July 1st. We are grateful for your membership and your support. We will be holding the second part of our active shooter training on Tuesday, August 16th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. here at Kol Ami. This will be an advanced training involving live and interactive situational role play with replica firearms and blank rounds. Please plan on attending and registering in advance. Save the date for our annual congregational meeting, Tuesday, August 23rd at 7 p.m. More information to come. Watch your email. Our preschool is growing, and we are hiring teachers and assistant director. Contact the office if you know someone who would like to participate. Check your emails on our website to learn about these and other upcoming programs. As always, we thank our volunteers and our donors and members for you all you do to help us fulfill our Kol Ami mission and vision. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Larry. We are going to now move into the concluding part of our service, and that is going to be with Ein Kelohenu on page 626. I'd love to invite any kids who've not yet reached the age of bar mitzvah, anybody who have not reached the age of bar mitzvah, maybe under 13 or something, or coming up in a couple weeks, to come on up here. Daniel, sorry, you are ineligible by like 20 minutes. But everybody else, all their kids can come on up. You don't even have to be Jewish or whatever. Anybody can come up. You can bring a parent too. All right, 626.
אתה הוא אלוהינו, אתה הוא אדוננו, אתה הוא מלכנו, אתה הוא מושיענו.
We are going to invite up at this time Ben Moman and Kalina. Ooh, I'm going to have fun with this. Rongwilova. Did I do that all right with that one? And also Mia and Shani Moman for the honor of opening the Ark. We are on page 586. I'll invite you to please rise for Elenu. Come on up. And some of you, one of you can hop on that door and go ahead and open.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה מיוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כעת, ויגאל עלינו ככל המנה, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Go ahead and close the door. You guys can go back to your seats. Good job. What happened to your hands? What happened to your hands? Oh no. Good job. Ah, someday. Good job. You may be seated. At this time, we think of those death has recently taken from us and those who have died in this season in years past. Think of. And those who we draw into our hearts with our own. And if you hear the name of a loved one, I invite you to rise upon hearing that name. In the period of Shloshim, the 30-day period of mourning, we remember Jeffrey Fuden, father of Hannah Fuden, William J. Mike Schroeder, uncle of Liz Page, Evgeny Leon Juravitsky, a local person who died and was buried in our cemetery. And if you hear the name of a loved one for your site, I invite you to rise as we remember these individuals whose anniversary of their passing falls this week. Bailey Aberman, Barbara Adler, John Harris Appleman, Rebecca Arkin, Lillian Aronoff, Sophie Baum, Samuel Bernstein, George Bornstein, Annie Brisk, Mildred E. Klein, Laurel Brown Dye, Rose Einhorn, Jacob J. Goldstein, Ann Goldstein, Raylene Gus, Anita Hecker, Abe Jaffe, Constance Kaplan, Benjamin Kogan, Bertha Rosengarten Kurzban, Albert Levy, Meta Zamori Lay, Saul Mariashin, Francis Melanson, Irving Monsey, Ruth Potsdamer, Dr. Harold Rosenberg, Max Rosenberg, Rose Rosenberg, Rex Stark, Patricia Strahinik, Bernard Tran, Henry Tooman, and Lorraine White. And if you have a name to add when I look in your direction, you're welcome to rise and share that name with us. And if you're watching at home, thank you for joining us. We invite you to share a name too. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. If you're in mourning or tradition to do so, you are invited to rise. We are on page 598. Yit Gadal, Yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alman, Divrach, Hirute, V'yamlech Malchute, V'chayechon, Uvyomechon, Uvchaye Dehol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, V'zman Kari, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mivrach, Le'olam, Omei Almaya, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yipa'ar, V'yitruman, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitalei, V'yitalal, Shemei Dekudashah, Berehu, Leila, Minkol, Birchata, V'shirata, Tushbechata, V'nehemata, Da, V'ram, Be'alma, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. Osei Shalom B'mrumav, Huya Sei Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who are mourning comfort the bereaved among us. And at this time, we are going to conclude with Adon Olam, page 625. I'd love to call Daniel and all of Daniel's B'nai Mitzvah classmates to come on up here. If you're in Daniel's class, please make your way on up here. We're on page 625.
Adon Olam, Asher Nala, B'terem kol Yesir Nivra, V'yetnasa, B'chefzo kol Hazar Melech Shemo Nivra.
Oh, come on, open your book. Don't look back.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kach Yitzir Nivra Ve'et Nasa V'chefzo Kach Hazar Melech Shemo Nikra V'yacharei Kiklat HaKol Levado Yimloch Nara V'hu Haya V'hu Haveh Hu Yeh V'tifara Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Ve'et Nasa V'chefzo Kol Hazar Melech Shemo Nikra Acharei Kiklat HaKol Levado Yimloch Nara V'hu Haya V'hu Haveh V'tifara V'hu Haya V'hu Haveh V'tifara V'hu Echad Ve'en L'shini Le'hameshilo Le'achbira V'lidei Shmit Ve'la'tachlit Ve'la'har Ve'la'har Ze'hamizrach Ve'hu Eli Ve'chai Gali Mitzur Chevli Ve'tzara Ve'hu Nisi U'manosli Lenatkosi Ve'yom Ekra Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kach Yitzir Nivra Ve'et Nasa V'chefzo Kol Hazar Melech Shemo Nikra Acharei Kiklat HaKol Levado Yimloch Nara V'hu Haya V'hu Haveh Hu Yeh V'tifara Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Ve'et Nasa V'chefzo Kol Hazar Melech Shemo Nikra Acharei Kiklat HaKol Levado Yimloch Nara V'hu Haya V'hu Haveh V'tifara V'hu Haveh V'hu Yeh V'tifara Ve'yada Afkid Ruchim אישה יאירה ואם רוחי גביעתי אדוני לי ולא אירא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כך יציר נברא את נשא וחפשו כל הזר מלך שמו נקרא אחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון אשר מלך טרם כל יציר נברא לי את נשא וחפשו כל זר מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה. Mazel tov.
To your seats, except Daniel, you stay up here. Everybody else can go back. I'd like to invite Daniel's parents and his grandparents and his sister to come on up here as well. For Kiddush, I'll invite you to please rise.
ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורות הברית עולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורות הברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורות הברית עולם. ברוך אתה
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam,
borei ve'yagafen.
And take a sip. And here you go, and I will take this challah here, and go ahead, take that out, grab it, and have a family come on over. Everybody can get connected, and as we get connected, can we get one more big Mazel Tov, Daniel?
Mazel tov! Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz
B'te'avon, Shabbat Shalom. There is lunch outside on the patio, sponsored by the Melman Nussbaum family. Thank you so much. Mazel Tov, Danny. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
Of course.
Shabbat, Shabbat,
Thank you.
Shabbat,
Thank you. This was so
Shabbat,
much fun.
Shalom.
Thank you. Oh, I'm
Shabbat
still.
Shalom. Thank you, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, Shabbat
Oh,
Shalom
this is
and
all
Mazel
Daniel.
Tov to you.
He's a
And
rock
only
star.
good health, please God. Shabbat Shalom.
As a reminder, I'm out Tuesday.
Just Tuesday?
Yes. So,
How to do that.
We're figuring it out as we go too.
Oh, that's very cool.
Putting up a tent and hoping for the best.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Sorry, it's a little late.
Thank you again. Oh, no. I appreciate you telling me.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
My pleasure. It's weird. I don't think there's anything special for Tammuz at all.
No, that's why I love
I don't have
Tammuz.
anything special. That and
That's why it's like,
Cheshvan.
yeah, that's why they're like, those are my two favorite months.
Yeah. Well, have a great time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, go out and do some hiking this summer or go camping or something.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, we're going to, do you know Bear Lake?
I've heard of it. It's north, right?
Yeah, it's on the Utah-Idaho border, like half the lakes in Utah, half the lakes in Idaho. It's like also really close to the Wyoming border. It's where those three states meet. Anyways, so yeah, it's called Caribbean of the Rockies because the water looks like Caribbean.
Oh, how beautiful. Is it, you have to make a big reservation in advance?
No, we made it last night because we were going to go to Vegas and then we didn't feel like going to Vegas. We're like, why do we want to go? We don't want to go to Vegas. Yeah, that doesn't sound fun. So
It's like a
we,
melting pot of